Welcome to Base Vision Inside Security, episode 14. Today we are talking about Mac management and what we can do with Intune, talking about lessons learned. In the last episode we talked about the same topic but on Windows 25 H2. So if you are more interested in this area, you can as well go back to this episode. Today with me is Yannick and Luca. Both are senior endpoint engineers at Base Vision and have experience in such rollouts. So probably the first thing is, what has changed in the past years? Why is this question coming more and more up to manage macOS devices?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So in the past years, customers often approached me and told me, we have some Macs in our environment, some shadow IT. Also, the second use case was often marketing devices because they need extensive resources working with the creative apps, and they would like to manage this. But now, really what changed is Microsoft introduced a lot of new features, and customers in the meanwhile are approaching me and asking me, hey, we would like to provide those devices to the employees because they did some surveys to their employees and they said, we would wish to have a Mac device. And it's nowadays more like a choose your own device and not anymore shadow IT. So it's really a new type of device.
So like the iPads came in, it's now more like part of a lot of companies. Probably as well you have seen that Mac devices are much more common as well in your company. So then this episode today is definitely for you. So what has changed, or what are the benefits now with managing Mac?
So as said, Microsoft has really introduced some new features, mainly in 2024 and 2025. That's like labs, so you can now manage your admin accounts and using a password rotation. That was beforehand not possible. Or furthermore, there was also introduced platform SSO. That means you can also join your Mac and also using further security capabilities. As well, you can enroll your Mac passwordless with a FIDO key, for instance. That's a huge improvement. Then we have also improvements in the area about update management. Before, it was a little bit tricky to keep the device always up to date. Often we used some Azure automations to achieve this. That is now solved with the latest DDM update policies. And there were also improvements around Defender policies. And overall, I would say all the settings you have available in the settings catalog, it growed a lot. So now it's really, I would say, enterprise ready. You can really manage it in the same way as Windows. Maybe not exactly, Windows and Microsoft has a bigger history in managing mobile devices, but now Microsoft really deployed a lot of new features and that helps really to managing enterprise ready. Yeah.
And I think the very important thing is as well that you can do it with the same tool like you do Windows, iOS, and Android. So you have one single management pane to control all your devices. And what I heard from customers really, which had Jamf and other tools in place, they were really saying, hey, now it comes to the point where we can really do all what we need with Intune. And I think that's definitely what we as well see on the market and feel in our own environment, for example.
That's exactly what I also see at customers. So they say, we have lack of knowledge. We have an engineer for Jamf. We have one for Intune. You have to maintain two platforms. You have additional costs because you have to pay licenses for two systems. And also, if we talk again about new features, Apple announced on the WWDC last year that you can do a so-called MDM to MDM migration. And the key point there is you can now migrate existing Mac devices from one MDM to another without a device wipe. That means you don't have to set it up all as a new device. That helps.
I think this migration topic is a very important
Mhm.
thing, especially on the MDM side. That was always not that simple to achieve, but this sounds very promising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
Yeah. What else has changed?
macOS also is built with security in mind. Apple is very privacy focused, and Apple is working together with Microsoft to actually integrate the whole Defender suite as well, for example. Microsoft also has announced that the Intune suite, for example, is integrated into E5 or E3, some products of that. So you can also make advantage of the Cloud PKI feature very soon, as well as the remote help feature. So pretty nice additions. As Yannick mentioned, you can also set up some passwordless authentication. That's also supported. And otherwise, because you have an Entra object, you can work with conditional access and all the other Microsoft Cloud products.
Quite cool. Are there as well things which are not that good, probably, or things where you said, "Hey, here we took a lesson and found ways around"?
Yeah, of course, there are still some little drawbacks. The most important message is, I would say, there are no blockers at the moment. There are still some little issues, but you can all of them solve. So, for instance, one of them is you don't have any recovery lock. That means end users are able to enter the recovery mode. They could erase the hard disk. But yeah, Microsoft is already working on that. So there we will see an improvement and further protection. Then another point is that Apple, from my perspective, overweights the privacy of an end user, meaning we cannot automate all of the required settings in the system, like on Windows, where we can automate everything and it just works for the user. Sometimes, especially for Teams or other applications where we have screen sharing, the end user has the final word and has to activate that option. That is, for the end user, a little bit annoying, but at the end, you can work with it. It's not that you have a roadblock or something. What else? The platform SSO registration to get your device as a Entra joint device is also a little bit complicated to set up. There are a lot of steps for the end user. As well, you have to authenticate the local user and your Entra user. That's complicated, but also Microsoft is working there for an improvement. They already announced that they will include it during the setup assistant, which will remove a lot of steps for the end user and will get also a better experience for the end user. Then maybe one last point here is the enrollment itself. So if you're working with Windows and Autopilot, you're used to have these ESP pages where you see a progress. So you see step 1, step 2, step 3. And you can also define some blocking apps, meaning apps that must be installed before the user can enter the system. That is not yet available on Apple, and that's the biggest drawback, I would say. But here we also have nice community solutions. Also, Microsoft provides community script for that. You can leverage for that Swift dialogues, and you can nicely create a UI where you show the progress of installed apps. So everything of that can be solved.
But that sounds quite cool. So we
Yeah.
can really manage macOS devices extremely well with Microsoft Intune. So I think that's a very good message which we can have to everyone. So if you look around in your company and you see Mac devices in use and you know that they are not managed, and with that probably as well not securely configured, not integrated, then I definitely would recommend you to look on Microsoft Intune, how you can integrate it. And if you have questions during such an integration, then Yannick and Luca, for example, they are definitely here to support you as well. So thank you for watching this episode. And in the next episode, we will talk about what you could have missed during your last operating system upgrade. So with that, thank you for watching. Bye.